Sacred Geography, the Hope Valley Basin. Mam Tor is a 570 metre, 1,696 feet hill near Castleton in the High Peak of Derbyshire, England. It lies within the Hope Valley. It is at the centre of a vast, sacred pagan site, an egg-shaped bowl several miles across. This whole area has a great number of ancient monuments, barrows, circles, mounds and standing stones in an ancient landscape. As above, so below. The Hope Valley was laid out using the principle as above, so below. Constellations and planets were mapped onto the Earth, so that the structures on Earth mirrored those in heaven. Planets had their own symbol, the stars had their own symbol. And these symbols can be found on the cup and rings, which show how to find the map sites. Many apparently natural peaks are the remains of man-made structures, huge pyramids, cursors, massive stone circles, all buried, destroyed, or fallen into decay. The Brychantes. The Holy of Holies of some sacred sites is diagrammatically shown by a circle, sometimes surrounded by the 12 tribes. These were the original 12 tribes of Israel, because Israel simply means a fighter for the powers of the light against the darkness, good versus evil. According to Ptolemy, there were originally 12 tribes in ancient Britain, which had broken up into far more by the time the Romans invaded and were decimated by the Anglo-Saxon invasion. The Hope Valley itself was in the kingdom of the Brychantes. The invaders may have called them brigands, but the word Bryant means privilege, prestige, and comes from the same root, Brychante. So they were looked on as the most prestigious tribe. Brigantium means settlement of the high ones, home of the gods. The Holy of Holies. At the centre of this site lie the symbolic mother and father. Mam means mother, and the Lord's seat lies to the west. A lord is another name for father. Whilst Mam Tor is 517 metres, Lord's Seat is 550 metres high. Connecting the two is an east-west aligned causeway, now broken by a road that has been driven through it. On the top of Mam Tor is a hill fort, but it is clearly not a defensive structure. It has an egg-shaped Holy of Holies with step terraces leading to it. In ancient belief, whilst the father had the abstract ideas, the Great Mother nurtured them and made them into a reality. The Great Mother is thus responsible for life on our planets, and these are all Great Mother figures. The father was distant and unknowable. The mother was the mother of all physical things, and thus was worshipped more. So Mam Tor would have been the real sacred centre. The mansions of the 12 tribes of Israel and the planets. Around the sacred centre are 12 now barely discernible divisions, the mansions or houses of the 12 tribes of the ancient Britons. There are hundreds and hundreds of hillocks and mounds which bear testimony to a time of considerable activity and occupation. Many of these mounds may have been the thatched houses in which the villagers and priests lived, or the lodgings for initiates. But some are so big they appear to be representing something in the sky, like a planet. What do I mean by this? Astrological charts provide a snapshot of what the sky looked like at a specific moment in time. And because there are both constellations and planets in the sky, any mapping of the sky onto Earth at a certain time should have a building, henge or mound, for example, for both constellations and the planets. Since the planets are usually shown within the houses of the tribes, then one would expect to see very big structures representing the planets, but in the area for each tribe, the mansions. One does. The planets are not fixed in a house, they move round every 24 hours, so not only must the day be known of any significant event, but the time, to know which planets are in which house. If we could reconstruct this enormous star map, we would know the exact date and time this whole site is celebrating. All we need is which constellations were in the sky at the time, and the relative location of each constellation. The ascendant and descendant planets. On all astrological charts, there is a line which runs horizontally across the chart, representing the horizon and the ascending and descending planets and constellations at the time of the event. The abbreviation ASC, or AS, is the name given to any constellations or planets that were ascending on the eastern horizon at the specific time and location of the event. Rather confusingly, ASC is found on the left, the position traditionally reserved for west. In other words, we might be better looking at any astrology chart by having a mirror image. A ridge runs east from Mam Tor and has 3 main peaks, all man-made: Loose Hill, Back Tor and Hollin's Cross, mostly pyramids, meaning the chart should have 3 planets on the ascendant at the time of the event. To the west along this ridge is green low ring cairn, meaning there should be 1 planet on the descendant. If we flip this example chart, we can see how it might look, as although the chart has only 2 planets on the ascendant, it has 1 on the descendant. And we can conclude that when all these alignments really did match, the alignments in the sky, a significant event was expected or prophesied. So, summary so far. It should now be clear that this sacred site maps a specific astrological chart and one that depicts a momentous event. The sheer scale of the works undertaken and the size of the site may place it in World Heritage category, which makes it that much more extraordinary that such massive incompetence has been shown towards its preservation. We have added some notes in the video description at just how much desecration and destruction has taken place. The final pieces of the jigsaw, the constellations. An astrological chart has the signs of the zodiac, that is, the major constellations that represent those signs, around the rim of the overall wheel. We should thus expect there to be a number of major man-made structures around the edge of the huge bowl of Hope Valley to map the constellations. And there are. But you do have to know they're there. The surrounding hills of the egg's shell are as much as 600 metres in places. Kinderlow is 630 metres. Part of the moor at 636 metres is the highest point in the Peak District, the highest point in Derbyshire and the highest point in the East Midlands. The star map builders have used this in their constructions. The Vale of Edel separates the central spine from this surrounding eggshell to the north. There's even a path up to these higher peaks called Jacob's Ladder. The star pattern in the sky of each constellation matched the layout of each monument on the ground, as above, so below, so it is quite complex and made exceptionally difficult to find because everything is now covered in thick peat bog. But it is possible that if we really looked around this bowl, we would find an arrangement of monuments laid out for every sign of the zodiac.